the Witness Guild, 15 minutes late. Our bad. Just trying to test some things out. It didn't work. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
But we'll keep this short. Yeah. Welcome to the Witness Guild again, I guess, because this is now becoming awkward.
It's only awkward because you're making it awkward.
I'm going to sink into the awkward.
Maybe if you welcome them one more time.
Yeah. Welcome to the Witness Guild.
Yes.
There we go.
I canceled it all out.
Yeah. Welcome to the Witness Guild. Tonight we are on episode 5.
Hey, are we welcome to the Witness Guild?
We are.
Feel welcome.
Episode 5 is tonight, so that's kind of cool. A couple people to shout out. We'll shout out the Dungeon Forge.
Hey.
DungeonForge.com. They got some cool stuff. They just put out their Turtles
Yeah, I
thing
saw that.
I saw. Yeah, their
Their new
Turtles.
booklet,
Yeah,
man.
a little booklet on their Turtle adventure. We did one shot for that. It was really fun. So go check them out. TheDungeonForge.com. Also check out nymtea.art on Instagram. That's nymtea.art. nymtea.art. She does all of our work.
Side note,
Yeah,
Really
I'm
does.
watching
Super.
Fins.
we had one of our Dice Maker friends, Grimstyles Art, message us, and he looked at our group picture that she did, and he said, all your characters are hot.
Yeah!
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
I have a
Minty is doing that comic, man, and I'm on it.
Yeah,
Up
it's a
to
pretty
date.
cool little comic.
That
Vince.
D-bag showed up.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah. Thanks,
oh,
man.
let's get
Yo,
that guy.
Willow, will you stop whacking your freaking tail against that?
I didn't whip
Not
my
wrong
tail on
Willow.
anything.
Wrong
No.
Willow.
Not you, Willow.
Oh.
There's a dog named Willow that roams
Well, you had a conversation
our
that we need to be in
studio,
character.
you know?
The studio.
But anyways, for the 100th time, welcome to the Witness Guild.
Welcome to the guild. The world of Ethway and its 16 regions are a battlefield of chaos. Those that can bring stabilization to this world are known as heroes. The ones fighting for this title today are Voltaire, a true adventurer with a love for combat, looking to help where he can. Nazlith, a shy elf with an affinity for fortune and magic. Budanik, the master artificer. He has two passions, tinkering and being the best. And finally, Willow and Emberly, the divine twins. These Genasi sisters have mastered the art of elemental fighting and protect their kingdom at all costs. Together, this is a powerful group. Will they fight the chaos of Ethway and prevail, or fall one by one? Find out this week on The Witness Guild.
And that's when I started slapping him like crazy.
Yeah, Matthew did rip ass last time. But welcome back to the Witness Guild. Episode 5 of Campaign 2, the 5 Fungi.
It's a final fungi.
We'll grow on you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll grow on you.
That's good, man.
That is a good one.
Put
That
that
is a
on
good
a
one. You go
fucking
check out
t-shirt.
our
Call
last
it a day.
episode, the run of Hagatha. It's still on Twitch.
Dude, I keep thinking about it constantly. Like, what did she do?
God, it's great.
Anyways.
Where we left off, you guys entered Centisio after your encounter with the fungal forest. You guys did some shopping. You told some of the guards that you guys were these fungi researchers. The guards became slightly alerted as you now know that Centisio's government has had some of this fungus, and they are unsure of it, so they called you guys to meet them in the main town hall. You guys did so, and upon some discussion, you guys recommended burning down the fungi that they had.
Best decision we ever had.
No, I was against it.
They took you guys outside to a training center where you guys burned
Yeah, the
the
training center is about 100
Jesus
feet away.
Christ.
Go ahead.
100 feet away.
You guys were taken back to a training center where they wheeled out a huge trailer of this fungus, approximately 50 to 100 plants. It was kind of hard to tell, and they are fairly big in size. When you lit that on fire, as it smoldered out, it shot up into the air and then sucked back and created what looked like a wormhole or some kind of portal in the ground, and out came that fungal creature that you are familiar with, along with a small army of fiends. You guys managed to handle the fiends pretty easily. Towards the end of the fight, the fungal creature began to retreat. On its way out, it tried to grab Voltaire. Voltaire was being yanked into this portal up until the last moment when Budanik demanded 3 to go help you out. And at the very last moment, you were saved from being pulled into that. You're not unsure of what it is, but it looks like some form of portal. She disappeared, and you guys, just to set the scene for you, are now left in this 100-foot by 300-foot training yard. You guys can hear, as during the battle, Frederick ran out to go grab some help. You can hear a large group of people beginning to swarm this training center as you guys now stand on the western side of it, next to the cart, next to Scorth and Duarte, who you've really not talked to Duarte much, but you sit next to Scorth and Duarte, having just got rid of these creatures, and all of their fungal plants are now burned to the ground. What are y'all doing?
Has a minute passed? Are we gonna see a couple guys drop from the in place there?
No, they're gone.
Oh yes, we did a.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to walk over to the small humanoid that fell and cut my hand over it and raise it.
Perfect. Yeah, easy enough.
It takes a minute, so.
You would notice none of them are really humanoids, right?
Wasn't there the one though that was?
There were 2 that looked humanoid-esque. If you don't recall, I don't remember what spell you used, but you used a spell to
I used Soul Cage on one of them, but
Yes.
I wanted the other one.
Okay, and you would recognize that they are similar creatures where it almost seems like you have now raised this soulless body. But you have it. It's not quite... it and Hagatha look rather similar. Hagatha being with you as well at this point.
What does this one look like? Describe it to me. Male,
Yeah,
female,
definitely. It's probably about 5 feet tall. It's very, very skinny in its arms and its legs. It's got very long fingernails, probably 2 to 3 inches in length each. Its skin is gray and almost rotting looking. It almost looks pregnant is the best way I could describe it. Its belly kind of like contours out, almost like it's been like, if you've ever seen any documentaries where people are starving and
That's what I was gonna say, is that what it
yes,
belly.
yes, exactly. And its belly's kind of poking out. It does not have clothing on. It is buck ass naked, just sitting there in front of you, gray body and all. Half of its body is pretty much rotted off. You are unsure if this is male or female, even when it's naked. It is hard to tell. Its hair is patchy in places. It goes about shoulder length when it does go, but it maybe has enough hair to fill your hand over its whole head.
Okay. So is there any genitalia showing?
No. It looks like it has rotted off or rotted in that area.
It's always the first to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't use it.
So
It closes in on itself.
I'm gonna bring Hagatha over
Could have asked.
Yeah, definitely.
and say,
Give me a
"You look out for him now. You guys work together." And and I will keep an eye out for clothes.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Really good
Perfect.
filters.
Yep. So now you have your 2 undead staying there. Hagatha, the hag that you raised, and now this creature that you raised, which I will actually give you this creature when we're done. I'll show you exactly what it is.
Okay.
And as you do that, as you raise this creature, you guys from the eastern side would begin to notice a swarm of militia entering this place. With
Oh wow,
Frederick
look at that good timing.
as
Right in
well.
time for us to fight the battle. Good job, guys. You're here and we're here to fight now. Thank you.
Right, well, at least we're a good research team put together, pretty capable and strong individuals. Let's think about probably time we get out of here.
Score.
I don't think there's any reason to stay. No, that's not true. I actually need to stay to get my armor.
Yeah, no, right. I'm fully aware of your
really
armor
research
situation.
anything?
Perhaps maybe we just, not stick around. But it looks like the military has it pretty well handled. Yeah, I think there's actually. Didn't you leave the stove on back at the inn?
And Scorth kind of looks at you guys as Budanik is trying to convince you all to leave. What was that, researchers? You know so well. Why'd you fucking do that here?
Right. Have you ever seen a giant being with like 25 arms swinging swords through the fields of battle and war?
Yeah, no.
Perfect. So your guess on what that is just about as good as ours is.
And we never said we were
bye.
experts.
We're beginners, researchers.
We merely claim that maybe you shouldn't be putting that in your city. And hey ho, look at that, we were right.
Can confirm.
And hey ho, look at that, we scared it away. So you're welcome.
The
You're welcome.
The problem has been solved.
Yeah,
so.
I can't thank you enough for at least showing us the power that this stuff has. However,
Right,
we've
don't keep
tested
it in
it.
your backyard.
We've tested it in small doses. That is not what occurs when you light it on fire.
Excuse me, question.
Yeah.
Why was this not informed? That would have been great information to know before we did anything.
Oh, we have a whole lab that we test this stuff in, and you thought that you were going to be the first person to do anything to it in our city? Like, we trust you?
Right. Spicy attitude. Bye.
A little
I'm
spicy.
just gonna turn and walk away because I will not tolerate this shit.
So you didn't give us all the information that you had, but you let us take it and experiment on it our own way. That seems like a kind of stupid mistake on your part.
I telepathically tell Emberly, I think we should get the fuck out of Dodge.
I'm just going to say you guys are the ones who said you were researchers.
It
We
lasted
told you
an
that
hour.
you had
idea.
maybe a few more weeks of
So
more
I
knowledge
guessed
than
it
you.
right before that.
But you could have told us what you knew. We were forthcoming. You guys were not.
You say
Doesn't
Duarte,
really seem like
who has
our
not said much, puts up a hand, and you will notice that every soldier that has entered this room, Scorth, everybody except for you guys, as he slowly raises his hand,
I'm gonna give him a high five.
Yeah.
you're a little far away from Scorth, unless you
I'm
want
gonna
to.
walk off.
Unless you want to run over there.
Yeah, totally. Voltaire would do that.
Yes. As you run over there to
Oh,
give
hey,
him
buddy.
a high five, he will allow you to high five him.
He won't allow you.
And you will watch the rest of the soldiers in Scorth take a knee.
I'm gonna stand behind Budownik and hold. Well, yeah, I'm gonna hold Emberly's hand and walk with.
Yeah, we walk with
We're
him.
walking with Budownik.
Away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't care where the nearest exit is. DM question. She cast telekinesis, telekinetics, telekitalkie.
Walkie-talkie.
There you go. Before,
Telepathic bond.
thank you. In the battle or before the battle, just before the battle, sometime. Is that still up and running?
It
at
lasts
this
for an
point?
hour.
If it lasts an hour, yeah.
Okay.
Still up and running. And as you guys are walking, you'll notice no one's trying to stop you or anything like that. Budownik's going to be, Voltaire's going to be the only one, and Nazlith, I would assume.
Yeah,
you're
it doesn't need
Voltaire. As you two kind of stay back and you begin watching your party leave, Duarte begins speaking. What do you know of these demon creatures?
I telepathically say, don't say anything.
We apparently know a lot less than you guys do with your big fancy laboratories. Everything we've been doing is kind of on the road and kind of with,
Off the cuff.
a long fingernail to our neck as we're trying to fight it off. It tries to cut us. We die. We live. We that whole thing.
For the first time, you guys would see Duarte kind of pull back his cloak and set it up on his shoulders. You would see that he's a Kalishtar. Something you probably would not have noticed before this.
I totally noticed he's Kalishtar.
Well, if you'd like, we have never been able to do this. I can tell you exactly what these are.
That would be great. We would love to have that information.
I will stop walking.
And I will say in my mind to Boo the Nick.
I will-
Nah, boo boo. Information is good. Maybe
I really
we should
turn
come
around
back.
and I'm ready.
I'm
with
just
my
gonna
pen.
stop walking.
I'm ready to write down everything.
I'm assuming. Can we
Excited.
hear what other people are saying? Like, if you're interpreting information, does that?
I would interpret
relay?
very snidely,
Yeah.
especially.
You're asking if we're
Especially
listening to
you would have just
information.
saved your life.
Yeah. Well, like if you guys are listening and I'm not
Yeah, I said
standing in
just
the
him.
room,
You
do I
have
still
saved each
hear
other's
what
lives
the
at
other
this
people are
point.
saying, kind of thing?
We're competing on who could save each other more.
It's purposeful communication. It's not like you're reading my thoughts, you know. It's,
Yeah.
We purposely have to verbalize
All right,
mentally.
Fine. Then I guess I don't stop.
No, I would have told you, hey, Boo the
Yeah,
Nick. You got
I'm not
some
ready to-
information over here.
I am not ready to discuss this among everybody, but I would invite you back to our laboratory.
I would just like to have an understanding real quick. Are we allies?
I mean, you just helped us.
That's what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that you interpreted that way too, because that's what we felt like we were doing, like heroes save the day, you know. But
You did cause it as well, but you helped us.
Wow, wow.
With a lack of information, we cannot be completely to blame for what has transpired here. Knowledge is power, therefore you gave us not enough power.
I will mimic that right back.
Are you saying that out loud, or you?
Yes.
Okay. And as you say that to him,
Well, but then you
She
told
said she
us
stopped.
turn
you
around.
came back?
Yeah, you said we
knowledge
said that.
stopped. Okay. Okay.
no, knowledge is power, dear, and unfortunately, looks like we've gained quite a bit of knowledge today.
Question over here. Hi. So your guy said that the fire doesn't cause the thing to go whoosh and become a giant monster creature. Is that the true?
We have tested this in our lab on a small scale.
So
We've never burned a whole trailer full.
okay. So if you were wary of that, why did you let us do it? Why did you hide your information?
This is something we have never tried before, and you guys brought an idea to us which was new.
Then you can't really point the fingers and put the blame upon us.
I'm curious who is doing that.
Who's doing what?
Well, they're not blaming us for anything.
I got the very strong feeling that they thought it was us.
Scorth here might be a little upset that you created a ruckus in his training yard, but we have learned today.
Fair enough. Let us move forward as friends. And do you have vouchers for expensive super armor that I need? Like maybe like I spend the money, you give me voucher, I get them a money.
I do not, but we know
reimburse
Curley
that.
Cue very well, and we can get your armor sooner than he.
How did you know
Let's
that
let
it was
you know.
Curly Q?
Are you still wearing your hot pants?
We
I'm
know.
absolutely still wearing the hot pants. They
Yeah.
never left. I was
I
always
just
wearing
kind
the hot
of
pants.
pat your butt then.
Shimmy.
So where would you like to talk and discuss this information? I think a couple of us would like to go ahead and rest.
I would like to invite you back to our laboratories.
Excellent. Are you willing to provide us with the documents and research material that you have
We will
researched so far?
provide you with more information on what is happening to our knowledge.
Can I like roll an insight check on this guy?
Yeah, if you'd like.
Yeah, I want to get his vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
How you vibing, bro? That's a 19 plus.
Wow.
Well, look who's
That
on
19?
Yeah. Insight plus 4. That's plus 23.
False life dice, guys.
Indeed.
With a 23, you would gauge that he is. He's at the point where you feel trusted. Like he's not trying in any way to hold. Like you have the feeling if you wanted to leave, you could leave. If you wanted to
Like
hang
a
out and
Nelson-
get information, you could. I mean,
Nelson Mandela from this guy.
yeah, exactly. He's oddly calm compared to the rest of the center right now that's on edge. Like Scorth is freaking out right now for what he happened to see. You would almost get the sense that Duarte knows something about the entity that you guys just fought.
Something more than even
More than
anyone of his advisors know?
yeah.
Do I get the sense that he has communicated with this entity previously?
No.
When and where shall we meet you?
We can walk there now. The labs are 300 feet away. It's a close walk.
I telepathically say, should we go?
I'm
I
already
really would like to
starting to
know.
walk, and I have my hand around the Duarte, and I'm like, so let us talk about this voucher.
You're touchy.
Yes.
Yes, and you see Scorth, as you kind of like wrap your arm around him, he kind of like nudges your arm with his sword that he was holding. It's okay, Scorth. We will work on your armor. I know Q very well.
I appreciate that, and then if there's anything more hero stuff that we can do for you, you just call on the Voltaire.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.
Thank you.
Let us go and discuss this plant.
You guys, everybody's still kneeling throughout this whole time, except for Scorth, who has gotten up and has begun following you guys as well. You guys kind of weave your way through all of the
As we're walking,
soldiers that are sitting there.
I want to cast how do you say that word? Prestidigitation on my new guy and give him just like little pieces of clothing so he just doesn't look so gross walking around. So I'll give him like a little like
Can you create
Cowl.
fabric with that?
it's just an illusion.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I see.
It's just a cover.
An illusionary
Yeah,
cover.
so just I can
Oh,
cast
You
three
can also-
pieces, so
you
I'll give
can
him a little cowl to kind of cover his
Clean
face,
things, too.
and I'll give him like a little loincloth,
The
and then
fucking
like
butt flap.
a little like little top kind of.
Yeah, and he
George
looked
of the
like
Jungle, dude.
you would know that where you guys are from in Rickstrom, this would be like people would be looking at you sideways. It's like odd that people are like okay with what's happening right now. You get the vibe that this is a much more magic-friendly place than most places.
I touched my chest and put a square on it, and I said, follow the winds, and I give myself guidance.
Perfect. You guys begin to exit the training grounds. When you exit the training grounds, you take a left, which would be north. And as you guys head north, a couple buildings, you would notice that the government, quote unquote, buildings are kind of like dead center of this town. He takes you a couple buildings down from the training center into this other brick building or stone building. When you guys enter this building, it's actually pretty small looking from the outside. It maybe looks like a shotgun style home that's like 10 feet wide, 40 feet long. When you guys enter the building, there are a couple guards that are inside. The great Duarte and Scorth as they enter and follow you guys, or you guys follow them, I should say. You guys take a door, or enter a door that takes you down to a basement. It only feels like about one level underground. It's not like you're going crazy deep. Once you get to this basement, though, things open up. This is about a 40-foot by 80-foot room. You will see a couple more of these plants. You guys have destroyed, obviously, their main pile of plants. But you will see a couple more as you are entering this room. Most of them are on tables that look like they're being tested in different ways. Some of them are submerged in water, in like water tanks, and they're just seeing what happens to them basically if they
Are
stay
there
submerged.
any that are in vacuum chambers where the air is sucked out? Because I'm curious what would happen with that.
No, they don't have a vacuum chamber technology exactly.
It's because they never called me.
With
but-
magical means, they can do it.
I telepathically ask anyone if they need healing.
I have a couple ouchie boo-boos, but mostly I'm okay. In fact, I'm going to
How much are you
lay...
down?
Don't worry about it. I'm going to lay hands on myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to heal myself for 46 points.
Oh my god.
And as you use
Do you
this,
need more? 'Cause I can do
Nope,
something.
that's all I need.
as you use
Okay.
this spell to heal yourself, Duarte notices and looks over to one of the guards. Brian, could you go fetch us a couple potions, please?
Hi, Brian.
One of the guards like
Duarte scored.
taps the ground with his the bottom of his sword and kind of like walks away.
Brian, thank you. I like you very much, Brian.
You guys are now left in this room with Scorth and Duarte after Brian leaves.
Amazing.
Yeah. Sitting there, Duarte begins to kind of open up to you guys about the situation. So, I don't know if many of you know much about Kalishtar, but
Yeah.
historically,
Do any of us know anything about Kalishtar?
you can roll history
Yeah.
checks if you'd like.
I can. I'll do that. 14.
20 on that.
15.
History. That's 3.
Emberly, you would know that from readings that maybe Willow has done throughout time, and although Willow may not remember, you kind of remember some stories about ancient Kalishtar, where they are from. They're almost from like a dream realm. They're not really from the material plane, right? And at one point in history, they were removed from that dream realm and brought to the material plane. You probably are not aware of what did that or how. However, you would know that Kalishtar are not a... Now that they're here, yes, they're from the material plane, but historically, we're talking centuries ago, something happened to kind of bring them to this plane at one point in time. And Duarte opens up to you guys. Scorth, you don't even know much about this, but now that we've seen the beast, we can go over a little bit of our history.
This is providing a book.
If you find a book about this love, I will buy it from you with all the gold we have.
It's a no.
Kalishtar. We are from, historically, a dream realm, a different place than Ethway.
What's it called?
It is many different places, similar to Ethway. Many cities, many...
Is it Uthway?
Dream Ethway.
Drethway.
However, we refer to it as the realm of dreams. We lived in this realm of dreams historically. My grandparents' grandparents' grandparents. When suddenly we were invaded. We were invaded by 3 or 4, depends on what story you've heard, demonic entities. And as the story goes, at one point in time, the abyssal plane was at war with the 9 hells. Demons were fighting devils. We referred to this as the Blood Wars. When those wars ended, the demons, in their loss, were looking for some form of winnings, some kind of retaliation. We don't really know, but they made their way to the realm of dreams. That creature that we fought, that was a demon.
The Lord?
I do not recall her name, but
Neither do I.
that is one of many demonic lords. I couldn't tell you if they were part of the invasion of the realm of dreams. However, obviously they are an invasion of our realm currently. We know that Hearthgo has also experienced this from that demon from what you told me. Creating a fungal forest. There's not very many demons that rely on fungal magic, if you will.
It is no fun.
There are.
Thank you.
Grown.
Scorth just. Duarte gets back to it. Again, we are not sure of which demon lords or lordesses came
Ladies?
to lords and ladies came to our
I like to.
realm of dreams, but as the story goes, there are more than one.
What?
There are more than one.
Oh, okay.
I would suspect that this is not the only one you will encounter. What bothers me most is that we were brought these plants by a cult. I believe we have talked about this a little bit.
Yep.
Do you happen to know any weaknesses? Anything that can be actionable during combat?
There are no weaknesses to demons outside of the devils sent from hell themselves.
And I assume that those guys aren't just on retainer anywhere.
Supposedly, some ways to reach the 9 hells without dying. I don't think that you guys want to go through that.
Willow, write that down, write that down!
And what if we do?
I feel no connection to those words.
I don't know what to do.
Alright,
There's a
so,
way.
and I'm gonna say this telepathically. Did you just suggest that we should die so that we can go to the 9 hells?
I did not say
Okay.
We could
Just
look for a
wanted
cubic gate.
clarification.
I say telepathically.
that. What'd you say?
We can look for a cubic gate that could take us to.
There's
the
only
hills.
like a few of those in the world. Don't do that.
I'm
That's not
saying
something
there's
you
a
should rely upon.
possibility. You asked for information, I provided it.
There
I'm
are a
looking at
couple-
him without saying anything.
I'm staring at a fucking researcher, watching him and judging the shit out of him for his notes.
Yeah, you would notice, Budownik, that although this is a lab of science and you're probably interested in what's going on here, your home lab is probably
Close this out of the
way more advanced than what this place has.
fucking peeling bullshit, dude.
You're basically funded by Cedar Gatling, who is like, if you're helping them, they're going to scratch your back all day, kind of thing. So yes, you have a lot more equipment, a lot more room, a lot more utensils. Everything's newer, but they work with what they can. And it's pretty obviously that
Impressed.
it's pretty obvious that for the limited amount that they have, they're doing a lot. But you don't know how many people are down here helping them out or whatever. It's empty as you guys are in here.
Did you have a question, love?
I did.
You can talk freely here. I'm not.
It's a sign of respect.
That is fair. Yes.
May I have the notes? Your research documents, preferably sooner rather than later.
Unfortunately, we don't have very many of them duplicated as of now.
I don't need to do. I can duplicate them myself.
I mean, follow me and we will figure
I have a
this
quick
out.
hand.
And he turns around and he walks to the back of the room and opens up a closet door. And when he does, you see that they have 8 rows of books that are just filled these shelves up, like full.
Are they organized neatly?
It's probably about 8 feet to 10 feet wide, 8 shelves tall. This is what we have. It is organized neatly, if you will.
I squeal.
If you look at the binding of the book, each one will have how we how we tested it essentially. So there's the top row is elements. We have water,
Voltaire,
fire,
just speak.
electricity, and so on.
Continue him down. Wait for him to stop.
The next row would be attempting to recreate growth of this. We have not been able to do that as far as farming goes. We do know that somewhere up north is where the farming is occurring.
Your own farming that you're attempting.
No, we have not figured out how to replicate the reproduction process for
You're saying that
said
these are
figured
growing
it
up
out.
north.
Figured it out. Like you're trying to reproduce this.
Well, we were. I can tell you that these attempts
So what ends?
Voltaire, just speak.
will.
What possible use could you have for something
Scientifically
devastating?
speaking, if you know how to recreate it, it is very helpful for knowledge.
I will happen to
This
say
is how
that
you
we
get stepped on all over.
did not know.
No, I'm very
What's this
tall. I
was?
didn't stepping on people.
So the reproduction was for scientific purposes.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should.
Right, but you don't know that you can't do something until you do it, right?
That is the absolute most
Right.
dog shit logic I've ever heard in my life.
So,
This
Hot
mushroom lady
Pants over
is.
here has a question for you, and he won't stop jittering around.
I'm gonna walk away frustratedly and start taking books off the shelf and putting them in the wrong shelf.
Yeah, you're watching as Willow's like cringing behind you as
I'm
you
not
do
even
this.
gonna be like quiet about it. I'm just
Voltaire,
gonna-
yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Quick question. I'm not very smart in the strategies of battle. Mostly I do the run-ups and the and that's done me pretty good so far. Just trying to understand what was your strategy for not telling us that you had this much information and made it seem like you were completely in the darks about these.
Well, it was a calculated decision.
I'm not very good at math.
And we learned quite a bit from our experience, didn't we? That
Well,
will all be documented and
That
added
is of some
to
debate because the fire you
our
said
books.
doesn't create the portal for them to go whoosh out of, but then all of a sudden the fire does create the portal. Do you think it was just the quantity, or do you think it was the fact that we were there and this thing likes us very much?
I believe that it was quantity. I
Hmm.
could not tell you though, in all honesty.
And so then you think it was quantity, and now you're like, let's farm that.
No, we were attempting to farm things for
So
scientific
you get crazy strange
reasons.
plant from the cult, and then you're like, farming. Yes,
So
click.
these
those things.
dots that you connect.
I did not connect these dots. These were the connected dots that you have made.
So
I need help with this. I need help with these shelves.
I sent my mage hand over to help you pick books up.
I will
cast
go up.
Mage Hand and I start moving other
Yeah,
books.
you're like-
Oh, wait! I'm not done looking at
I
these
will
shelves.
go
Please stop.
over and I will following Budownik put the
no,
ones
you
back.
are in conversation right
Right,
now.
but I
That
can do
isn't
the multiple things
happening.
at the once.
No, it can't.
Yes, my
Unless
mouth
you're
works
walking
very
away
good.
from him.
Quickly looking at this. Okay, so he told me already that the
You
top
guys are
shelf is
kind of
elementals.
so the way that this room is set up. You guys are kind of behind where him and Voltaire having. Well, I'm telling you, you can't do this. You guys are kind of behind Voltaire and Duarte and Scorth. Scorth is watching you guys and just kind of like, the fuck are these people?
So when I look at the shelves, you mentioned that the top shelf was elements, all that shit.
Testing with elements.
Elements. The other one
Next
was
show
trying to
was
regrow.
farming.
Farming. Okay. What else you got?
You're talking like 10, 15 books in a row or more?
Yeah, I'm talking more.
Okay, so like 50 to a row maybe? And they're all
Probably
different colors,
around
assumably?
probably around 30, I would say, on each row.
all
8
different
rows.
colors?
They are all different colors. You'll notice they're labeled. Like each one on the back is labeled rather correctly.
Rather.
And yeah, you guys are kind of fucking around.
What-
The
what's
next
the
one,
next
so
one?
yes, there's elementals. There's farming.
Okay.
You see one that's just labeled like lab tests, where they've tried to just mix different chemicals and just to see like, hey, if we drop this on it, what happens?
Right.
You see one where they've tried to like dry it out almost like they would do tobacco and,
Right.
and see if it was like some kind of hallucinogen or some kind of
They had
medicine.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm
they're-
specifically looking for, since it's July, I'm looking for anything that has to deal with religion, praying, anything
wouldn't
that they've
get-
done like that, holy waters
You
and
you
shit.
would not get a religious vibe from this place. where you have been. This city is fairly lacking in the religion sector. Their beliefs are very scientific. They believe that essentially if something happens, they can figure it out. There's no everything happens for a reason. Right. They are literally going through and doing their due diligence on the scientific process of this plant. So if you're looking for religion in this lab, you're gonna struggle mightily.
Can I go behind the wall and ask loudly? Will you hear me?
Yeah.
Who's the note takers for these documents?
Our team is. I've requested them to stay upstairs as we gather down here.
I'd very much like to meet with them.
We can do that afterward.
Thank you.
I want to cast Divine Sense and see if I can detect any fiends or any fiendish activity within 60 feet of myself.
Okay.
Is changing.
You cast Divine Sense. You don't detect any fiends by any stretch of the imagination. But what I was going to tell you was that he is, as you're kind of commenting to him about why are they wanting to reproduce this and yada yada yada, he goes into this long spiel about how these people have been selling this around and this is a new economic staple for where they're at right now, and they don't know why, which is one of the reasons they would like to just reproduce and test it. He brings you over to this little pit where they are lighting it on fire, and he essentially shows you. He turns on this flame, and he throws one of the plants in there. You watch it as it burns, and you casted this spell. As it burns up, that is when you get a hint of fiendish activity happening in that plant at that moment. And it shrivels up to this weird, it's an ash, but it's not like an ash you've ever seen. It's almost granular. This is what we have learned. Like I said, our flames have not done nearly what you guys have shown us out in the yard.
Is this flame normal or magical, or did you try both beforehand?
We have tried both. We are a very magically inclined city. The majority of our citizens practice magic here.
Here's a little piece of information you may or may not know. What we fought, the creatures that came out were fiends, and I actually have an ability to detect the fiends. And just as he burned that thing up, I got a little bit of a hint of fiendish activity inside of that. So I would say that it is probably very true that the more you put together and then burn, the more fiendy you get. So basically what we did was probably the worst possible choice we could have possibly made. And if only someone had said something like that.
It is good to
now we know.
Thank goodness you showed up, Voltaire, to make that decision for us.
No, we did it all together. We're a team.
However, my bigger concern is if this is becoming such an economic staple of our surrounding towns, and if we are having people hand deliver this.
Are you talking about an economic staple, but you don't even know what it does?
This is one of the reasons we have.
Who is profiting off
Tried
this
so hard.
economic staple?
The cult.
That I could not tell you.
Where is the cult that you're talking about? Because I'm starting to think there may not even be one at this point.
The Drollgart, they are located a little bit north of Voltache.
Which is where you said these things were being farmed, yes?
We are not 100% sure where they are being farmed.
No, of course not. Why would you?
We can show you our small garden of them, but that will be ended on my order before the night is over. I happen to know some of you, by your reputation.
I don't think that's a no. We're a small company of people.
The Divine Twins are recognizable across most of Ethway.
Well, that's quite nice that you called us divine.
That is your reputation. Outside of that, I am not too familiar with you all. However, I would expect that you're not the fungal researchers you claim to be.
As we stated earlier, it was a new passion, and it was a passion for living because this thing was trying to kill us. So it came out of nowhere. We tried to do our best, and we were very open about this.
Yes. You weren't lying, but you weren't so straightforward with me.
Right, this is actually
You've
the
never
first
asked
time
our
I've
names.
truly talked to you.
We have, actually.
You were
One of our guards,
Frederick?
Frederick, asked your name, and I was there when Scorth tried to ask you guys where you were from, and I believe it was you, Naslith, who quickly shut him down on your location. I guess none of that really matters now. I would just...
So what is the point of us being here? Are you asking us for help? Are you trying to accuse us of something? What is
Well, I
your
assumed
goal?
I just gave you some form of information.
And do you want something in return?
I would like this to not... we'll put it this way. These creatures have taken one of my realms from me and everyone I literally know. I would rather them not take a second one.
Do you know the other cities that are using this as currency, as you say?
Not so much currency, but it is becoming sold.
For what use?
Again, we don't know. We were studying that.
So if it was
Unfortunately,
like...
I doubt that many of them know it does what you guys have done. Otherwise, I don't quite understand why they would be doing this. I can tell you that the cults that brought it to us, their location, I can give that to you.
Boltash?
Just north of Boltash. Don't, the people of Boltash can be strange, but it is in their nature. I wouldn't want them to be too involved in this, and hopefully they are not. We do rely on them on some of our metal things.
Well, one thing that I will say is that when we have encountered this creature, it does a strange thing and it talks to our brains through its own brain. Nazareth can do a similar... Yeah, something like that. Now, I'm wondering if maybe these plants were meant to be some sort of force of possession or something. Maybe these plants infect you, you breathe in spores you don't even know, then maybe they're activated and tra-la-la, you are now plants.
Based on what's happened to me, and you guys would recall that
Was he the guy that was
Duarte
burning?
was in fact infected with the spores.
Like he was?
Different
No, he
flavors.
was like getting
He
burnt.
began getting burnt, but you would also have seen like his skin almost turning into something similar to the plants you have seen.
Was he starting? I'm gonna name my new guy Goopy. Was he starting to look like Goopy?
He was.
Okay.
Did the
based
creature
on-
speak to you while you were being burned?
I believe he spoke to everybody around us. Yes.
Nothing specific to you, though? Like something like, you will be my new slave and I will take your body and you will do what I tell you to do.
No.
Just a vague thought. No,
It wasn't.
No? Okay.
No. Yes.
Well, no, yeah, sorry, asking DM.
Yes,
Would I
Zoe.
know? Sorry. Would I recall through my vast knowledge of history. The mechanics or how portals or those type of things work. Like what it would normally take to create a portal or an opening.
I'll let you
through
roll
a
one
plane.
more history check on this.
And then I'll use mine.
And I'll let you have advantage just based on your book learning.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22.
22. With a 22, you would know that in Ethway, portals to different planes they're all different in nature. For instance, if you wanted to go to an elemental plane, chances are that portal is going to be found in some form of magical item that element is made in.
Okay.
Like if you want to go to a fire plane, you're going to have to find some form of magical fire gate. In many of your stories, that would come in the form of lava most of the time. There's a water plane. To get to the water plane, you would know that you'd have to go through a water portal. Many of those are found deep in the sea. Not many of them, I shouldn't say, but there's a couple that you have read about that historically are supposedly down in the Artis Ipsum Sea, pretty far below where most people can get to.
Right.
When it comes to, say, the abyssal plane or the
9 hells.
Yeah, or the 9 hells, or other planes like that, they all have their own way to get there. I would say from the abyssal plane, you don't have much knowledge and reading about the abyssal plane.
Based off of the mechanics I've recently seen, I've seen that there, as soon as we set something ablaze in a large amount of quantity, that it created some type of hole. And then also, Voltaire mentioned that he can when he threw some of the spore in, that it created a fiendish vibe. Could I assume by that context that potentially these are some type of gateway?
You would put 2 and 2 together at this point that more than likely these plants are being shoved together in piles and lit on fire, and that is opening a portal to the abyssal plane. That is what you would gather from this. Outside of that, you don't have much knowledge of the planes. You would have a little bit of knowledge of people who study the planes. You would know that a lot of people who study the planes are different cults. They're considered, whether they are like cultish by nature or just considered cults by society, you do know that there is like a difference between people who are like really freaky cultish and people who are like society just thinks they're weird, so they call them a cult, right? There is a difference in Ethway in that realm.
Would I know anything about the abyssal or infernal portals?
I'll let you roll a history check for me.
So,
while you do that, just one more little tidbit of knowledge. You would know that there is, within the last 150 years, it's kind of hard to tell. There is a group of people who do go around and like study these weird phenomenons that happen. And when you have read about them, they seem to travel by island.
Would you call these people just eccentrics?
They are fairly eccentric. Willow, you would have read about that these people stay in the Greystone Keep.
okay.
Outside of that, yeah, you're pretty much looking at some cult activity to learn anything about these. What'd you roll?
18.
With an 18, he keeps mentioning this Drollgart cult. I would say that Nazlith, with your 18, in your past, you have dealt with a Droll cult.
Okay.
So the name Drollgart almost is triggering to you in like a maybe kind of way.
Okay.
There might be some connection there. And you would know that the Droll cult is rather they are very necrotic. You know, their goal is to make the world an undead place. They prefer having those kinds of that kind of power and being able to have, you know, essentially undead slave labor at the cost of societies. That would be what you get from that role.
Okay.
So
Economically
I
speaking.
will talk to group out loud, not telepathically. So based off of all the data that we recently gathered and information that I know previously, it seems that these spores or plant-like entities that you are collecting or have, if brought aflame, are creating portals to the abyssal potentially. So having them in large quantities, which it seems like the cult that you're currently willing with that I know nothing about and hope to soon learn more about this cult, may be influencing and creating these portals by providing such large quantities and hoping that you will test it in creating portals.
So it seems like spreading them and making more of them is what I would say bad idea.
Yes, and I'm not sure what happened to our community down in Hothgort, but there were reports of dragon activity. Earthgo, yes.
It said it was something different.
When we went through that forest, did we see any signs of portals?
Hearthrow.
Hearthrow?
No, Hearthrow, which is a
Hearthrow
little
was
tiny
little
town
bit,
in
yeah.
between Thogport and Santisio, where you guys first encountered the fungal creature. You guys did not know that was a town when you were in there, but it essentially was a town that was taken over by that fungus, is what Duarte and Scorth let you know earlier in the day.
How
When we went
recent-
through that, when we went through that forest with all the spores, did we notice any portals? Maybe that's how they're taking over. Is they're just opening up a bunch of portals in one spot and location, and it's turning into a shit show.
It could be.
But if you also mentioned dragon activity, there's a great possibility that perhaps there was a card of that plant life somewhere, and then with the dragon activity created some type of portal. What was the recent most active dragon activity, by the way? Just knowing, just in case we're traveling.
We
How big was your
heard
area?
reports a couple of weeks ago before they turned into a fungal jungle, if you will. However, we're questionable about the reports based on who they were coming from.
Has a dragon been slain?
This is all just clicking as we're standing here, but the assumption I would take is that this cult has some connection with a dragon entity and is
Age, size,
doing this together.
Preferably colored?
color, anything.
Please.
Dragon is a very,
Very big,
rare
yep.
but generic term.
We had a couple travelers come in who mentioned it to our gods. They mentioned it looked undead.
Great.
I'm sorry.
And so you want us to
feel
go
like
take
I
care of
heard
your
you said
dragon
undead
problem.
dragon.
That's what all this has been leading to.
An
You
un-
want us to go take care of an undead dragon for, I'm assuming, a miserly fee.
Level 15.
I'm at the point where you can do whatever you would like.
Right, well, thank you so much for the permission.
Our priorities here are to keep Santisio safe.
Of course.
Undead dragon.
I can't ignore the fact that you guys have helped me do that today.
Just gonna pour a little bit more here. Just thirsty.
We,
What is that blue stuff?
although your help would be great in the future, we have zero expectations of you staying in helping us out. That being said, if you do need anything, you can let us know. We will get your armor from Q as quickly as we can.
Does anyone have paper bird in this campaign?
No, the most useful spell of last campaign.
Yeah.
Forgotten about this campaign.
Well, I can, once I sleep, change my spells.
Well, it's also, it's an item, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an item.
Well, but you could do sending or something different.
I have message.
I have sending.
Message doesn't go very far
No.
though.
We do have many magical stores. If you need anything here, we are going to be one of the more magically inclined places you guys visit over the next couple of weeks, assuming you head north.
Do you
you'll
have any
find the
magic,
cults.
like weaponry anywhere that we could take a look into?
And he kind of looks around at you guys and what you have.
I have a notebook.
When it comes to weapons, it's a little less, unfortunately. That takes much more time. However, if you're willing to wait, we could get you some magical items.
Well, currently we have to wait 5 days for the queue to finish.
He said that they could ask
We will have
this guy to
Q.
speed it up.
Well, if he doesn't, maybe that's more time than you could, like you said, if we need
Yeah,
time.
I would like to leave here as soon as possible.
Hey, no offense, leaving here in those shorts, you're not going to be the most stealthy, you know. They do glow a
What
bit.
they lack in the stealth, they make up for in the fabulousness. And I think that can be just as disarming as a stealthy soldier.
Very just something.
I would have to,
Disconcerting.
they are bright. However, I
Disgusting.
think setting you up with some good magical armor will be in your best interests. We will get that from Q as soon as we leave here. I will head there and have him finish it within the day.
Can you ask if he'd be willing to part with more of the scrolls he sold me? He charged me a decent penny. It was a scroll of soul collecting.
You also want the bag.
Pick up
The bag of
more.
holding
Bag.
and so
If you guys stay a night, I will have a conversation with him over dinner, and you can meet him in the morning and pick up whatever goods you would like. They will be on the house.
Do you have a grand library?
Yes, we found a very pitiful library.
It's very sad.
There was no useful information there.
We do have the governor's library. I will invite you to, if you would like. We have a couple hours before dinner, so we can go take a look if you would like.
That would be appreciated.
Hold Natha's hand and look at her like, do you want to go with this with me? Do you want to raid with me?
Sure.
Do you guys have a plan on what you're doing next?
We have the hotel or the inn that we're staying at.
Oh.
Voltaire, I've really enjoyed your upbeat attitude about all this. It's actually like just it's a joy to have around here
Thank
I
you,
nudge you
appreciate
down
that. I
and
tried to.
he's flirting with
compared to the usual attitude we have.
And I will say to everybody, he is not my guy.
We do.
What was that debate, Nick?
Sorry,
As I
Are you busy?
continue,
No,
No,
go ahead.
I'm listening. I
I'm
apologize.
still
I just heard-
reorganizing these, and I have tried my
I'm
hardest
reorganizing
to
them.
get it to say "suck it."
You try your best, but like literally every time you move a book, another one gets moved by it. You guys are.
I got Mage Hand
Yeah,
going too.
like,
Mage Hand's helping me out here.
you have another mage hand that's bad.
I have a
as
mage
well.
hand by
Yeah,
Maslin.
Yeah.
Everyone and their mom has mage hand.
I
It's
don't
like the
know.
most basic. You don't have Mage Hand?
How do you not have mage hand?
However, Voltaire, I was referring to what are you guys doing tomorrow once you leave? Where you,
Will
where
his
you-
armor be done by tomorrow?
I will have it done within a.
Fortnite?
We will get it done within a
Get the
10.
fuck
You guys
out
are
of here.
like on it today.
That's a this like what, 4 or 5?
You guys are in sync.
Insane. Even our fucking flows are insane.
That's the joke. You guys you seem like you don't want to stay here and help. Are you going after the cult, or do you have other things to do?
Well, I think the truth is at heart that we are fungal lovers and we are chasing the fungus. And we're probably going to try and chase down that cult. But I will have to confer with my compatriots and see what it is they're interested in doing.
Do you have an extra cloak or some fabric lying around, by the way?
Here, no, but we can find you some down in the magic ward.
Okay.
So, what time's dinner?
Well, I guess we are done down here.
Thank fucking God.
Please keep the majority of this information to yourselves.
Right, well, I
I
believe
don't
you
need
kind
a
of
city in.
expunged that in front of literally everybody in the military. If there's one thing I've learned, is that soldiers talk. So, good luck keeping it under wraps. It's not our fault.
You're right.
Desert
They're
jellies
going
are
to
a
tell
big
all
thing
their
in the
soldier
military.
friends about me knowing something.
Yep.
As he looks around.
About a dangerous mushroom piece of shite that can suck people into the abyssal realm or whatever the fuck it was you were talking about. Don't be surprised when this gets out. It's not our fault.
I don't know when we spoke about them. Okay, let's go upstairs.
Where was Frederick? You guys remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just ran away. Nobody ever checked in on that guy.
In U5,
Suspect, if you ask me. Guy's a suspect.
If you would like him, you walked by Frederick when he was on his knee in the
I was gonna say,
courtyard
he
as
seems
he
like
came
just
down.
a messenger.
But U5, in your what'd you name him?
Goopy.
Goopy.
Because he's falling apart.
And
He's
Hagatha.
so goopy.
U5, Goopy, Hagatha, Duarte, and Scorth all exit the lab. As he's exiting the lab, Brian comes down and hands
Brian,
Scorth a couple of potions. Scorth looks at you guys. Do you need 2 greater healing potions
Yes.
That would be so wonderful if we could have something
That would
like
be
that.
helpful.
for your help today? Here you go.
Nobody
and-
drinks them. Just take a fucking nap. Save those for later.
He hands you the 2 potions and continues walking upstairs.
I'm saving that for later.
When you guys get to the upstairs, you would like to come see my
I'm listening.
a,
Was
coup-
it greater
a,
healing?
a couple of you, yeah,
Greater
2
restoration. Oh, healing or restoration?
2 greater healings.
Oh.
Greater healing potions. Nazlith and Willow, you guys would like to come see the library.
Yes.
Yes.
The rest of you,
I'd like to see the Royal Reserve whiskey, wine, brandy. What you got? This place sucks.
Elroy. Okay, we're not calling Elroy. Your friend, Anger Management.
That would be an understatement,
We
yes.
offer those classes here if you're staying more than a
Do
week.
you maybe have like a hypnosis
Do you
someone
have a
can come in very sneaky before he gets aware?
We will get you one. But you 2 ladies would like to come up to the
Yes.
governor's library.
Yes.
I will leave you there as
I'll
I
go.
go.
I'll go with them.
I was gonna say telepathically. Do you want to keep your eye on Budownik, or you want to come with me?
I'll go with you.
Okay.
In the 3 ladies of the group, Emberly, Nazlith, and Willow, you guys make your
and
way,
My buddies.
and your buddies. You guys make your way out of the town hall, and you guys go behind the town hall. You pass where the training facility was that you guys were at, and down towards the docks, there's one, a little closer to docks than you guys are at anyway. There's one larger building that sits like in the middle of, truly the middle of town. Welcome to the governor's home. And he leads you in. When you walk in, the 2 doors to enter are huge. They're probably about 40 feet tall, double doors they push open. They are inlaid with all kinds of silvers and golds and metals. There's beautiful carvings in them. This is one of the most decorative buildings in this region. It's not like the Magic Ward where everything's painted all colorful
I've
and
seen better
Caribbean.
castles.
But this one is all stone. Not a castle. And you guys enter. The first room you guys enter, you guys walk past a fountain. There's a water fountain in the middle of it. It's almost like a courtyard room. It goes back to a large long hall where there's a long table, and it looks like this is where they probably have some kind of their fancy dinners. And while you're on the bottom level, you would notice 2 side rooms, one of which looks like almost like a ballroom, exclusively for dancing and just hanging out, having a good time. The other room you don't really get a glimpse of as you walk by. He takes you upstairs. Once you get upstairs, it opens up to a hallway, and there's two ways. And based on where you're at in this building, you would know that if you were to go left, it's probably a fairly little room. He takes you to the door to the right, though. This room is the majority of the building. And when he opens the door, what you guys would see is a medium-sized library. There's going to be probably 9 rows of books.
Does this place seem sketchy?
There's a couple thousand books in here. It's not small. It's about the size of the library that you were already in, but this one's the governor's library.
Real quick, I would have recast telepathic bond as ritual before we left.
Perfect.
I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Failed to mention that my intent was to leave the room, and then as I was leaving, deposit 3 onto the ground, and have him telepathically command him to go crawl up Willow's shoulder and just hang out with her.
Yeah, that's fine. I will assume that as Willow, as you enter the building, you would notice 3 is with you. Budownik, not with you. But 3 is with you, you 3 ladies and your 2 undead. This is all yours. You are more than welcome to look through anything you would like.
How much, are we having dinner together? What's
Right?
I'm going to have dinner with Q. I'm going to,
Okay, so we will be separate, okay. How long can we spend in here?
Good question.
as long as you would like.
Okay.
Excellent.
Just be aware, you are more than likely being watched when you're here.
Okay.
Just by nature.
That's kind of invasive.
I just want to rest in the corner for a few minutes, and then I will peruse the books if that's okay. Feeling a little tired after that fight.
That works. I will, I don't plan on coming... Yeah, that's fine. I don't plan on coming back. I have to go to dinner with Q and Scorth here. We will discuss getting you guys the items you need in the morning. And,
If I
we
may
will
be
go from there.
so,
You're not here.
well, I would have gone. I followed you. Yeah.
What? He just
I
said the
said-
3 ladies.
No one asked me where I went. I would have stayed.
I
where
asked
was.
you where you went.
No.
Yeah, like secretly silent.
But he said 3 ladies and you did not intrude.
Because he was talking.
Anyways.
He's pontificating.
I guess that's a DM decision.
What? Yeah.
Girls only.
You are more than welcome to come.
No, I would have been with Nazla
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
in the library.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. And as you were saying that, what's that?
With the candlestick.
With
Put the candle back.
perhaps maybe if you could find possibly maybe Q had some sort of ring of protection or something, that would also be a very big benefit to us.
I'll see what they can do.
3 is gonna start nibbling at your hair.
But we will, no promises.
Anything you can do would be very much appreciated, and we love your hospitality. You guys are being so nice, and we love that.
Voltaire were already asking a lot.
I will see
Belly.
you all
Belly.
at Curley Cues
He
at 8 a.m.
He gladly.
That sounds lovely. We will see you there.
So
Side note, Curly Q sounds like a really amazing fast food joint you go to at midnight.
Right.
Ooh.
Like curly fries.
Yeah, that's what my thought was curly fries.
Everything is curly.
Cues.
Everything
Yeah,
Everything,
curly
yeah.
carrots,
curly chicken tenders.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Curly
Burgers.
veggies,
Curly.
curly hot dogs
Nobody likes
on
burgers.
a
hot dogs.
stick.
Nobody likes burgers.
Yeah.
But you guys watch as he leaves the room. You can hear him walk back downstairs, and
Bye, friend.
he exits the property. And we will pick up there after our little halftime break. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back. Give us 10 minutes to just, go pee-pee.
Empty our bladders and get a new frozen
Fill up our
cold one.
drinks and do our thing. But
I'm gonna take a short rest.
yeah,
While
you
we're
can take a
resting.
short rest in the corner. Very easy, very easy.
I'm not.
And we will be back with our scene in the library next.
Aslan, how could you?
Hello and welcome back to the Witness Guild as our dogs make some goofy noises. I'm sorry if we took a little too long. It's been a hell of a day for us here
Hell of a
at
day.
the Witness Guild.
Okay.
However, where we left off, you guys went down into the lab with Duarte and Scorth. They kind of went over their history with this plant and with the entity that you guys happened to see. Although they did not confirm what that entity was, they did have some form of historical knowledge about what it probably is. With all of that being said, the group, minus Budownik, followed Duarte to a lab where he explained all this. Duarte then took you all to a library.
Sorry, I went to the library.
You were
I went
with
to
the
the
lab.
lab,
You
not
were
to the
at the
library.
lab. You did not go up to the library with everybody. What are you guys doing in the governor's library?
Is the library sketchy?
It is a very clean library. It would be like if you were in
The Scottsdale.
any very ritzy place and they had a library. This is it. I mean,
Okay.
you're looking at a very nice place. There's like little reading nooks in this library. It's organized by history, fiction, and so on and so forth.
After I took my short rest, I would be looking for arcana, magic, things like that of that nature.
Definitely. Is there anything specifically you're looking for in the Arcana and Magic
You know
realm?
what I'm looking for.
I have a clue what you're looking for. Yes, roll an investigation check for me as you look through the books of this library.
I'm
Is it
gonna
investigation?
Yeah.
sidebar. I'm gonna go back to my room with some beer and food, and I'm gonna take one of my Eldritch Cannons out. I think Hypnic, and I'm gonna just point him at the door and leave a small note with him that if anybody comes through it, to attack them with fireball.
Lovely.
17.
17. That's a pretty good investigation as you're looking through. I would say that while you're in the Arcana section, you don't find too much of what you are really looking for. However, they have almost like a history section of things that they have found, you know. There are multiple books on some cult interactions and cult magic that you might be interested in. There are the one book you would have found would have talked about how this magic is certainly frowned upon in most places. Necromancy. But the majority of the information you would have found would be in these cult books, where it seems like they do a very good job of keeping tabs, like historical tabs on cults that have ran much of their region for the last couple hundred years, specifically a little more west towards the mountains, and a little more south.
Okay. So, different from the northern ones.
Different from anything northern. I would say that your interaction with, or your knowledge of the Droll cult, however you'll take that, they do have some information in this room on that. If you wanted to take a book
I would like
to yourself and read about it, you have all night to read. I would say that he did recommend, like, he did ask you guys to not take books. You know, if you want to gather all the information, you can. Just please don't take the books, kind of deal.
Okay.
When you read through this book specifically, it begins talking about a handful of cults that used to run the southwest portion of Hadurthia, which is the region you guys are kind of bordering. So it would have been northern Hadurthia, south Pragnil, almost right on your region's border. You would be familiar with this area from your past. The Droll cult is a large topic, and it kind of discusses how throughout the last couple hundred years, how some of these cults have kind of overtaken other cults. Essentially, almost how like political ideologies, if there's like a random ideology that's not claimed by a political party, they will just take that ideology for themselves.
Okay.
That's kind of how these cults operate, where there's a cult that's specifically the Droll cult you would know is a fairly necromantic cult. Historically, as this book would tell you, their whole goal has been to raise the dead, sacrifice people to give them more power in raising the dead. However, as you keep reading, you keep hearing about the Gart cult. Gart. The Gart cult in this book, as you're reading it, is a fairly demonic cult. They worship the abyssal plane. They have been attempting, you can tell from this book that they have been attempting to reach the abyssal plane for many, many, many centuries, as long as they have existed. There seems to be a certain time while you're reading this book where these two cults have historically come together, and although their missions differ, they have somehow realized that although they have different missions, one is more of a necrotic mission, one is more of a demonic mission, there were certain entities or fiends or lords or gods, somebody basically brought these two cults together. It doesn't tell you exactly how. However, you would get the understanding that the Drollgart cult is a fairly new one. There's not much information on them combined, but you do get information on how they combined. And it seems to be through the presence of demonic activity mixed with necrotic activity. Doesn't really tell you how or what exactly that entity that was that united them, but you do get the hint that they are now united. And I'd say it takes you quite a while to like dig through that book and gather that information.
Okay.
Willow, what are you looking for?
Is there any type of ancestry documents or books?
Many. There are many history books. Most of them are about kings, queens, knights, more of the noble side of things in this library.
I am looking specifically for the Bad Ziorasu.
I'm sorry, what?
Budownik's ancestry, ultimately.
Oh,
Bazarowski.
But
Bad Zarowski?
You're looking
how
at
you put it.
Yeah, Bazarowski.
You would not. You
No.
said that out loud. I was like,
Biz or Bods or
this is my
Birdings?
first time hearing this word.
But Budownik wouldn't share that.
Yeah, you're pretty interested in Budownik's history.
That was a
He's
lot.
told you his last name and kind of where he's from. In this library, you are not going to find
Cool, excellent.
anything on that last name.
I'm going to move on then.
You would assume that his history is not from the noble side of things. I would say being a hobgoblin. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Excellent.
Wow.
I would like to then spend most of my time getting maps and surveys done for the land of Bultash. I would like to know its regions, past, maybe a couple like centuries ago, what it was to current,
Yeah.
and kind of just checking out the maps, seeing how they look up to.
Roll an investigation check for me, and as you do that, you will have, as Willow kind of looks through all these books, you can't find anything on Voltaire's last name, and you kind of move on pretty quickly. Budownik. Good lord. And you kind of move on pretty quickly.
We found a new.
In the back of the library, you find where it looks like there's like a cartographer's table set up, and some map making stuff. They have maps as you kind of go through. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 13.
Okay, easy enough. They have maps that are of most of the towns in Cragnell. There is a very basic map of Boltash.
Okay. I'm specifically looking for any type of buildings that were in the past that potentially could be ruins now, temples, large buildings, areas of congregation, those type of things.
You would get the gist that Boltash is a fairly like they do believe in religion. They do. They're quirky though. It's not a typical religion that is practiced from most of the allied cities. The people of Boltash are a little more grungy, if you will. It's a lot more of a working society than it is anything else. I would say with your 13 roll, you don't get much on their religious history and whatnot, or their temples that they have. The map that you find of there is very basic. You do see like it's labeled like town square. It'll just say like citizens basically in areas where citizens live. It's very, very rudimentary as far as maps go.
I would like to study this the best I possibly can.
Yeah, definitely.
So that I can recall it when we are going to Boltash.
Definitely, and it has what you would notice is it does have a very detailed path of how they should get to Boltash as far as like their trade routes and stuff go.
Okay.
Boltash is an important trading partner with Centisio.
And then I'm gonna look up just books on fire genocides. Genocides.
Yeah.
I say genocide.
Yeah. Roll a investigation check for me.
Do you have tissue?
Oh,
in
a
your
nat
dice
20.
box? Nice.
Frickin' 20. Let
And
me
then
pull something up.
I
on
want
you.
to see if it just says my father's name in it anywhere and just research the book.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Ding. Yes. So as you begin to go into these books on the history of fire genocide, there's a couple things that you already know that you learned, or that you are kind of reading through, and it's kind of the basic genocide history. They are mainly from southern Ethway. There's a couple of cultures of them that are in the northwestern part of Ethway. However, Evstone, where you guys are from, is one of the hubs or capitals for Genasi. You would know that Evstone actually allows all types of Genasi access to their city. They're not very picky on it. They are pretty prestigious with how they handle their Genasi, but they're not picky on who's there necessarily. The book you are reading would go over a couple historical figures in the Genasi world. You would notice that the king of Evstone is in there. There are a couple other Genasi named. However, you do happen to catch Caspian in this book, your father's name. And it kind of goes over his lore and how he has helped build up Genasi culture in the southern world. It talks about how he was one of the main stables of Evstone for a very long period of time before he decided to leave for mission purposes. It doesn't seem. I would say that you were told most of your life one thing, and what you are reading might suggest that he left more for a mission reason, if anything. In what seems to be an attempt to connect the Genasi a little closer together. You don't quite, it doesn't go into detail about it because it really doesn't know. However, it does mention that Caspian has gone off. He's left Evstone in a mission to go build a better Genasi world, essentially. And it kind of leaves it fairly vague as well. It does describe that he went to the northwest colonies of the Genasi. It would talk a lot about Herdel and actually, sorry, not Herdel. It would talk a lot about Spittrel and Valdington, places that you would know from your own history. That's where a lot of Genasi culture comes from, historically speaking, before you guys moved down south centuries ago to establish a city and a town that was a little more in an economic climate. However, it doesn't go over any kind of extra details. It's not in-depth per se. With a nat 20, I would say that you noticed that this book was written fairly recently, within the last 5 years. And so for it to be discussing your father in any way, shape, or form means somebody would have had to have met or known your father, whoever wrote this book. And that's pretty much what you gain from that.
Do I see the author's name?
Yes, you would. Aldred Holt.
Really?
Boots.
Isn't that the guy that gave us the fucking wagon?
God, I hope not.
Pretty sure that's the guy.
Oh, it was. Sorry. Not Aldred.
Oh, I fucking met that guy.
Wow.
Wow, he knew our father.
Good memory.
Yeah, not Aldred. That was a good memory because I didn't write that down on my sheet, which I'm now going to. Aldred, name
I
taken.
fucking hate that guy. I mean, right? I fucking hate that guy.
Don't you hate Beta Nick?
I'm not here.
You're not.
So the name would be Seewa Vild. Seewa is spelled Seewa. Last name Vild, V-I-L-D.
As I'm reading this and gathering all this information, I don't want to say it out loud, so I'm telepathically telling Willow. And I do make the connection that the book was made within 5 years. So Seewa Vild might know our father.
Three's getting a little hensy.
Oh.
Or clawsy.
He's poking my back.
So maybe if we find the Seewa Vild, we'll be able to gather some more information on him.
Excellent. Sounds like a great idea. I'll notate that.
Well, they're doing all of this. Voltaire is fervently searching, looking high and low, and then the high again, trying to find a specific book, one called The Fantastic Dichotomy of Polka Yodel, Rise of Yodelka Music.
Okay, roll a investigation check for me.
This book is ever elusive, but it is a good one. Investigation. That is a 9 with a -1, so an 8.
Okay, now roll an intelligence check for me.
Oh.
That
No.
one, dude. That
You
one.
got a nat 20.
Oh, hell yeah, okay.
Converse.
He's rolling with his Voltaire dice set to 19.
I
So
haven't
it's
rolled
still
any
intelligence.
other dice.
That one would have been great.
-1, so 19. But it's a nat 20. No.
So yeah, you go through. It takes you a couple hours, but you seem to go through every frickin' book you can find in this place. You are struggling finding a book about singing your.
I can tell you the name.
Yeah.
Would you like the name? Okay.
I don't, but you cannot find your yodeling book. Unfortunately for you.
I'm going to go and hide in the corner a little bit and kind of cover myself with my wings and just pout.
I would say with that intelligence check, you zoom through all these books fairly quickly, and you would be very certain that it's not here.
Someday, I will find the book.
Fair, all these books. Anyone else want to do anything in the library?
I was going. If you're in the library, we can stay in the library.
Yeah, we can do the library first. We'll hit up Booty Nick in a
How
second.
long has it been since we've had our fight?
I would say you had your short rest and then you started looking. It's probably been about 3 hours of you guys being in the library working.
I'm gonna kind of interrupt everyone in the library and say, so, earlier I kind of sort of collected one of the souls from our enemies and we could do a couple things with it.
That sounds totally normal
Like
and
in
not
a
at all
jar?
weird.
This seems kind of worrisome, as if you're asking to use one of our bodies to put this soul
No,
into
no,
communicate.
nothing like that. More like to collect information.
Well, I think information is very valuable.
So,
How would we go about this?
We can either ask it some questions, although they tend to be little bitches about answering because they don't want to talk. Or
let me make sure I'm reading this correctly.
I'm getting very exorcism of a certain flower.
Emily Rose.
or
That's what I thought. Oh.
But it's,
I can try and see where it came from. I
okay.
can see through its eyes from where it came from.
Oh. So when you say through its eyes, are you protected in any type of way?
Oh yes, I do not get harmed. I am fine.
And Willow, as you kind of look at the creature and she says through its eyes, you notice that one of the eyes is missing. The other one is kind of like
Not
bubbling
bad,
and hanging
barely there. Not bad.
Yeah.
That does not seem very.
Okay.
Essentially, I can try and see where it came from. We can do that as one thing, and then we can try and ask it 2 questions if you have questions.
Should we tie you up so you don't hurt yourself?
No, I will not hurt myself.
She's very skilled with what she does.
I
It
kind
is
of
very
draw
true.
out this little tiny silver cage, and I show you. I'm like, it's in here. It cannot hurt anyone. It's my beach.
Okay.
So, stupid question, but since it's a soul, is it considered a humanoid or no? Not anymore.
Well, it came from a humanoid.
Because I have charm person if we need to do that.
It doesn't quite work that way.
No.
Anyways, this was a follower of that abyssal creature. So,
Was it something we want to keep under wraps since someone is potentially watching us?
They have been very open with us here and very welcoming. I think if we get any information, we should share it.
I think the term open with us was very subjective in the very beginning.
well, I will say this. When I ask it the question, it's telepathic and only I will hear it, so it's not like it will respond out in the open.
Excellent.
okay.
Okay.
So,
And then you can talk to us telepathically.
One thing that I think you should maybe ask, and it's important for us to know what it is that we're actually dealing with. Maybe a name even, then we could possibly research the name, something to call this thing.
when I ask these things that it says it's their lord and yada yada yada, and they go on this bullshit spiel about how it's everything. They don't give me a straight answer.
So
to
we
that.
should keep it simple.
Yes. And something that cannot be misinterpreted.
Excellent. Well then, dive in.
Do you have questions though? I've been trying to ask questions and they're a little dodgy.
First question is currently, what is its goal?
I can tell you right now, it's going to say that its goal is to serve its master.
What is its master's goal, I guess, is what I'd be more specific.
Do we agree that this is a good question to ask?
What is your name? What is your quest? What is your favorite color?
Who does number 2 work for?
Is
Who
he
does
talking?
number 2 work for?
Does he talk? Does he
No,
talk?
no,
Oh,
no, no.
damn, that'd be fucking cool.
That's a quote from a movie and I couldn't stop myself.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not in the room with you.
Yeah.
Well, I figured if all of a sudden it's the number 3's a mouth just prodded open with a microphone.
No, he's still trying to eat your hair.
I love him so much.
He's failing. miserably,
Actually, I
just
don't
trying
have
to
enough
scoop it away.
information for Eyes of the Dead.
'Cause
So
just
you can
keep
ask
trying.
good questions.
Okay, so then let's
3
ask
questions.
what's its lord's goal, or what's its lord's passion, and where are they going next?
Arts and crafts.
You already tried to ask
Pottery.
what
Really enjoy
can
this.
effectively cause
Tinker
its
blocks.
pain.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that didn't work, didn't it?
No, it did. Last time I talked to it, I asked for weaknesses.
Like DMX and his flat
Oh, that's your
body.
mouth. Good. Okay.
George Bush and pain.
So the enemies we fought before cannot be poisoned or frightened, and most of them couldn't be charmed. I couldn't tell you which one is which. They have cold and lightning resistance.
I noticed that the lightning
resistance.
wasn't
Fire
very
resistance to the Lord only. The others can be affected by fire.
good. I noticed that the lightning wasn't very good, and it felt as if almost some sort of god had randomly decided to make lightning not as effective.
Yeah, it doesn't work on them.
3 raises his claws to the air.
Anyways, but yes, we have to be very pointed with what we ask, because it'll go on about how it serves its Lord and its master and blah 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 blah. So,
Okay, so let's do that then, because I'm kind of hungry and I'm very tired.
so what did we want to ask?
What is its lord's goal? Where are you going next? Where is the Lord going next?
Let's do it.
And
Okay.
does the Lord have friends?
If so, were they
Or
invited to his
allies.
birthday?
Or
When
acquaintances?
is the Lord's birthday?
What about the dragon?
When-
Should we ask about the dragon?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent one.
Okay. I'm gonna look at my little soul cage and I'm gonna say, hey, wake up. I have questions for you.
Does it make a noise? Does the soul make a noise?
The soul, I would say that you guys would not audibly hear a noise. Nazlith, when you speak to it, you would hear something just reverberate in your head back to you, essentially. And it's almost like a series of like, it's just like a bunch of like moans.
Just acknowledging
Yeah.
that it's there because I haven't
It's
actually asked
essentially
the question.
acknowledging, yeah.
Okay. So the first question. Your Lord Lady, Mushroom Lady.
This is
What?
off to a great start.
What is her name? And what is her purpose?
What is her favorite color?
You hear a scratching sound.
Nazlith, in your head, as you ask this question, you hear a rather deep, guttural, just, and slowly it would come to you,
Sounds like a zombie from Minecraft.
Lady of the Rot and Decay.
Excellent.
Name for this fucker.
Okay. And then I ask it,
Low rad.
Low rad.
what is her purpose? And where does this purpose take her next?
On the what is her purpose, as the low guttural noise comes back to you, you would get an underlying tone of just chaos. And in the background of hearing just chaos over and over again.
Oh my gosh! That's
You
scared
guys-
the motherfucking shit out of me.
Oh, it's can we?
Well
I'm glad you
then.
guys just stood
Can
there.
we just-
Intense moment.
God damn it, Luna.
I honestly thought a dog was like jumping up on me for a second.
I don't know what I thought, but I thought I was dying.
Well, if you guys didn't know, we use PVC to connect all our
Whoa.
shit together. It's getting worse.
Well,
Should we edit that out of the stream?
No!
hilarious.
That is awesome.
Oh my god. Oh, this is so bad.
That's
Oh,
how
this
dead
is
I am.
horrible.
My reaction was just no reaction.
I just thought a dog was just like jumping up and putting his shit on me. I don't
You
know why.
almost got whacked again.
Okay, now that one I was scared of. That one had velocity.
Wow, Chris, your storytelling is getting better and better.
What caused this? Was it Luna?
Hi everybody, our broken set is brought to you by...
This broken time.
Should we go on a brief pause?
We need like a little
We're out of
intermission.
time.
Hang in there, baby.
Yeah, we're fine.
Don't mind us.
I want to help, but there's too much going on.
To anybody watching, give us a second.
I think it was Willow. Her tail is so powerful.
I am done
She whips her
laughing.
tail back and forth.
How was my tail back and forth?
That was just.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Nothing.
Did you just rip something?
Something sounded like it ripped.
Pants?
No.
What was that?
Are you done with it?
Yeah, I'm right here. Don't mind me.
Well, that was a lovely interaction with our
I can't
set.
wait to see that clip on Instagram.
Yeah, for real. That will be. I'm going to edit that out and put it up there.
I literally had
Something
no reaction
fell-
to that.
You okay?
something fell off that.
I wasn't even looking because I was like thinking so hard. I was like looking down at my screen.
Again, I just felt the cloth kind of hug me a little bit, and I was like, alright, what's
I just felt
happening?
the PVC pipe energy with my glasses. It was like-
Okay.
That took a minute for me to process. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what the fuck am I saying? This is the middle of a doodle, thank you.
Okay. We need to put a weight on Willow's tail.
No, then you make it stronger. You have, like, the alpha
Weigh it
tail.
We
down.
should go and bring
Raging
Weight
Witcher.
Right.
What happened was a dog knocked over our studio set. You know, it happens to the best of
What
us.
happened was chaos.
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 Oh
Yes.
my god.
Spit out
Was
my
he
brain.
still saying chaos in that whole
He
movie?
was. Yeah, I was.
I think Zoe started with, we were all like, chaos.
Yeah, literally we were.
We did a summoning
We
spell.
summoned. Yeah, we summoned chaos.
and we will bring
Don't
it.
fucking say that in this house.
I have a Ouija board. Should I bring it next?
No.
Hell no!
No.
Bringing it back in.
Yeah, bring it in.
As you are hearing the chaos ring through your head, you would notice that as you ask this question, a curtain behind you falls off of the
One of the
windowsill.
bookshelves fall over.
Your DMing is just.
Exactly. On point right now. And you would just get a small hint at the end of, and it's your turn.
I roll my eyes. Alright.
Spicy like.
So sassy.
Dumb.
I'm awake.
Last question. Is this Lady of the Rotten Decay working with a dragon? And if so, what is the dragon's name?
You would get an unknown answer from that last question. This entity is not quite sure
Privy to that information.
how. Yeah, exactly. Not so privy to that information. Not really given that much knowledge as far as what this creature is working with. You would almost get a lack of information.
Okay. I'll just mentally, telepathically relay the information that I got from them. See, I told you it wasn't a whole lot. rats. They're very evasive when you ask them questions, but
It's a good question though. Can I run through the books real quick and see if I can find any lore about Lady of Rot and Decay?
oh,
I will.
what?
God, so much chaos
What?
is happening right now.
Just barefooted. My barefooted vomit.
Are you freaking kidding? Oh my god!
My barefooted vomit.
Chaos.
Somebody say that!
Oh my god, I'm so disgusted right now. It's in
Oh
my
my
toes.
god. Chaos. Well, while Zoe's discussing, we'll finish
No,
this
go
up a
to
little
the shower.
bit.
Go
Oh my
wash your
God.
foot.
We've had two,
Big incidences.
so many interactions tonight that have just been crazy.
You guys seen the movie Omen?
I
Isn't
just,
this what happens right before like the baby was born?
yeah, I just unleashed the
Is
beast.
Debbie?
No. I just unleashed the chaos beast. As you guys are, we can continue. What were you?
Well, she was looking for the book though. We need her back.
Oh yeah, she was looking for. Is there anything else you guys want to do in the library while you're there?
I have things that I would like for you to do.
I know, I got you. Give me a sec. I got you,
Go over to
fam.
him.
Dude, the
Fine.
library's more interesting.
Okay.
God.
So as you're all doing your thing at the library, Budownik,
Budownik is going
head
to...
up so I can hear you.
Sorry, I had to finish my drawing.
The
Thanks,
current
teacher.
scared
Alright,
Sorry.
laying down in
No,
my room in the inn,
Yeah.
lots of commotion going on and trying to fall asleep, tossing and turning, and not really finding the rest that I'm looking for. I'm going to get out of bed and try to ignore the headache from that battle and sit down on the floor and pull out a cloth, just a small, like 3" by 3" cloth, and lay it down and pull out a couple toothpicks, 4 toothpicks, and lay them down on that cloth, and then reach into my components pouch and pull out 2 sunflower petals and pierce the sunflower petals with 2 of the toothpicks and put them down. Pick up another one and release some sulfur from my armor's catch, and then kind of grind the toothpick into that sulfur and place it down, and then lastly pull out some bristles off of a boar and very carefully and with great dexterity tie that bristle around the final cloth and stare at my work for a moment, and then fold it up politely and just kind of open up another like smaller compartment that just hinges out and stuff them in, close it, and then ponder what we learned in the laboratory. That's all I need.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Easy enough. You have plenty of time to do this. I won't make you have any rolls or anything like that. You have plenty of time to master that while everything else is ensuing in chaos.
If we can't say that word anymore, we just can't.
What was your question at...
You're looking for any books that have to do with the Lady
Yeah,
of Rot and
yeah. I wanted to go through and see if I could find any lore about demons and go towards demons and then look for the Lady of Rot and Decay.
Okay, roll one more investigation check.
I don't disagree. It's low rad.
Low rad.
Not calling it low rad.
Low rad.
I refuse.
It's gonna stick.
Oh.
Can I help her?
You can help her. I will let you guys. This is the end of your day.
What was it?
Investigation.
20.
Alrighty. You will find one book on demons. This book discusses specifically, it's a history book. It discusses some of the lore of the demons, some of the demon lords that are in their world per se. This book, as you read it, it doesn't make it seem like reality. It almost seems like these are stories, right? However, based on your knowledge, you would get the gist that this book has some legitimacy to it. You would get to a point in the book where it then begins to talk about demon lords. As you kind of read through these, you happen to come upon one where it discusses the Lady of Rot and Decay. It refers to her as Zuggtmoy, Zuggtmoy.
Spell it again.
Zuggtmoy. And it talks about how this creature can infiltrate your mind and essentially get you to do what it wants you to do. It not only that, it does it via spores. It goes into towns, takes over, and uses those entities as its armies to do worse onto other places. And the further it goes along, the worse it does. You would also, reading this book about the demon lords, get the gist that there are many other demon lords. Each one is a whole different ballgame.
How many?
In this book, you would specifically...
Could I get the names potentially of them?
You would get 4 of them.
Okay.
I can give you names if you give me 1 second.
I'll give you one.
4 total, including this gal, or 4 other ones?
4 total, including this gal, is what you're gonna get. There's a quicker way to do this. No one ever said hard copies are quicker, but they are. So you would learn a little bit about Grazit, Grazzt, who seems to be more of a warrior-esque demon. Carries a sword that's approximately 10 feet long. And is built like almost a were-human. But in size, he himself is probably about 20 feet tall. You would get a little bit of information on the Demigorgon, the Prince of Demons.
So it's a Demigorgon, but he's called the Prince of Demons?
He is Demigorgon.
Okay.
Is his name, and
This is number 2.
he is the Prince of Demons,
No.
essentially.
3.
He is a lord of. When I say prince, he's one of the lords.
Okay.
You would also learn about. Where do you go? You would learn about Baphomet, Baphomet.
Baphomet?
Yep.
Okay.
You see the demon or the dragon when you kill somebody.
This is a. In the small reading you'd be able to get about Baphomet, he enslaves people to work for him through fear. Fear that he will basically crush you if you don't listen to him. And lastly...
That's 4.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go then.
No, what?
No,
Oh,
that's it.
what?
And then it goes into a little bit of depth that there are other demon lords. The demon lords don't all seem to get along with each other, right? There's an ebb and a flow to things. This book would also go into the historical wars of demons. When you were talking with Duarte, he mentioned that the demons at one point in time were in a war with the devils. This book covers that.
It talks about the blood wars.
It talks about the blood wars and how the demons and the devils would periodically go to each other's planes. The devils would go down to the abyssal plane in attempts to take over some of the abyssal plane for themselves. The demons would do the same thing in the levels of hell. The demons never seemed to be able to break through that first level of hell, though. There were times where they got close, but they were just never able to break through that first level of hell. And it almost seems like these wars, whoever was on the defensive side of things, seemed to always succeed. It was usually the attacker that would be taking the L during those battles.
Excellent. I'm just going to notate all of that from the book.
Yeah, good 20.
And then I'll relay that information directly to my peers as I read aloud in my head.
Yeah, definitely.
Shall we call this a night here at the library and maybe head for dinner?
Yeah.
Get the rest?
Yes, I feel like we
That would
have
be nice.
a lot of information to process here.
And
My
I would,
hand hurts.
I would say about the time that you guys leave the governor's library, it's dark outside. It's probably about 9 o'clock at night. You would know it's 9 o'clock at night. You guys make your way back to the inn, I would imagine.
Yes, we're going to go back to Budownik.
Yep. So you guys get back to the inn. You go. Are you just going to your separate rooms?
We're gonna meet Emberly and we're gonna eat at the bar real quick, and then I'm gonna poke at 3 and be like,
Whatever you want to do.
is there any way you can tell me if Budownik's sleeping or not? Or are you gonna stay with me? Clip your claws 3 times if you're gonna stay with me.
He will curl down your arm and plant himself on the bar.
Yes, and you watch him like stare at you as you ask
Okay.
that question. He kind of looks at you like sideways, and he's now like sitting in front of you at the bar, just waiting.
Okay, cool. Then I'm just gonna keep petting his little belly.
Perfect.
We're
You
gonna
guys are
join
served.
them to eat. Yes,
Yeah, you guys are gonna go eat too.
we're going to eat.
I will
Perfect.
send Goopy and Hagatha upstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I don't
make
want
it.
to eat around them. Thank you.
Hagatha leads
Appetite.
Goopy to their
Lost.
rooms pretty easily.
You can tap it on your foot.
You guys manage to eat. If there's any discussion you want to have during dinner, let me know. I'll stop for you guys. If not,
Seems like we have stepped into a pile of shit.
I think we just need to get out of here and go along our way.
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, considering the fact that I say under my breath, or I say telepathically,
No.
No. I'll say stage whisper. I think Sita Gatling would benefit from us taking care of this voltage issue, but I'm not doing it for this city.
No, I agree with that. The city can fend for itself. They have a giant militia, as we've seen, and they have the magical artifacts. So yes, we should move on.
Lavstone has no ties with trade with this city, so it does not matter about them.
I don't go that far. There are nice people who live here. Q was very nice. The Curley Cue.
Well, I'm not saying they're bad, but I mean, we ultimately have an objective, and we were brought here to take care of Sita Gatling.
They seem like they know what they're doing.
They are aware of the risks now, and if harm befalls them, it will probably be of their own making.
Yeah.
I appreciate their resources that they've been kind enough to share with us.
After we've asked 4 times or so.
We got there eventually, though, right?
Yeah, I guess. You invite us up here, you get us dinner, you lube us up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck no, we're not doing nothing here. And then they all of a sudden want us, so it's just misleading.
Knowing fire's bad and letting us blow it all up with fire.
Right, yeah,
Well, no,
that's
they didn't
productive.
understand that fire was bad because when they did it was in small quantities, so it wasn't bad. But when we did it, it was in large quantities, so then it was bad. So that was our bad. Maybe we should have used some sort of anti-fire, anti-oxygen suction chamber or something. But we'll never know now.
We collected new information and science. Whatever, we survived or fine, whatever. Moving on.
So, about dragons, do any of you know any information about dragons?
No.
I am a dragonborn.
Do you know anything about dragons?
No.
Cool. Would I know anything about dragons?
Roll a history check for me.
At this point, 3 is curling into a ball and like hopping up and down on your plate.
14. Cool. I'm gonna mess with his little claws.
Seems like 3 knows some stuff about dragons.
Yeah, why is he so excited?
You would know a little bit of history about dragons and the separations between the chromatic dragons and the not metallic. What the fuck?
There's
Chromatic.
metallic.
Metallic, yeah, and metallic dragons. You would know that there is kind of like a good and evil difference between those two, right? Your understanding of dragons is that they would very rarely, if ever, work with people.
So we're talking about mind-controlled dragon, potentially.
They said undead.
Well, yeah, that must be because of spores, I'm assuming.
That's probably about what you would get
Yeah.
with that roll.
Because if it went down and burned the thing, I'm assuming Lady of Decay would be like, ooh, I want a dragon, let me buy a dragon. All of a sudden, kill said dragon, you are mine. And then all of a sudden, we have a fucking flying undead dragon everywhere.
I like to imagine that she threw a big giant like lance, and then with a single throw killed it.
Right, it went into like
sank into like some sort of lake.
Lake or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you
Drag it out
go
with an undead army.
forget about it, and then it
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
out,
yeah.
and you're like, oh shit, you remember that dragon?
Hardly anyone would call that derivative.
And then like the fire that it breathes is super weird and can blow up ice walls and shit.
Naturally,
Right, yeah.
Of course, that would be yes.
Not
This
really
all
sure
seems
if
to
fire-
make sense.
It makes sense. I think we're all on the
Honestly,
same page.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
glad
think
we're
that if we
creating an
wrote
original
some
story.
sort of book about this, and there was like if there was like an
Stupid.
8th part of this book, that we would make this book very good and not
You know
very
what? I'll
bad
start
at all.
tracking down our history of it,
Right.
right? I think
Right.
so. We can build a wall.
And you see the little shrimp sitting there like as it bounces up and down.
I'm going to reach my finger to the shrimp, and I'm going to try
Don't touch him.
and just give it a little jolt.
Do you have that magical ability to give a little jolt?
I'm going to
through your
use my
finger?
staff that does have that ability.
No, if he seriously does that, I'm gonna grab my plate with the thingy on it.
Yeah. You guys are kind of at the bar now, tussling with this little shrimp that you would know as 3.
Bring it on, little bastard.
And he's gonna crawl around and hide on her shoulder.
Yeah. Are we ready for bed? You wanna go night night?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna
So you guys eat your dinner. You have a little bit of a conversation before you guys head back up to your rooms. The twins, when you guys get to your room, it's empty. It's just ready to go for you guys. You really haven't been in there much for the day. Voltaire and Nazlith, when you guys get up to your room,
We're
you,
in separate
Separate
rooms.
Oh,
rooms.
okay.
We go over this so many times.
well, you called her a little girl. It was creepy.
She's like
And
a
baby.
sister to me. That's how
He
we
also
do
calls her
You're
baby
seeking
and-
attention.
She's a cute little girl.
You
She
want
just-
constant contact.
You guys have brought this to a level that it was never
Anywho,
gonna go
Voltaire,
to.
you go into your room. You have not been there much either. It's fairly empty. And there's a bed there waiting for you. Nazlith, as you get up to your room, you would notice that one of your windows is broken, like to shreds. And as you kind of like look out of it, the glass is like on the ground outside. And yeah, there's a couple other.
How did
Items
Haggard get
on
out
the
of the room?
ground.
Close look at Hagatha. She's got a shard of glass just sticking out.
Yeah,
of her
God.
face.
exactly. As you look at Hagatha, she's like, gives you a little shrug.
Help is on the way!
While I'm up there, I'm gonna. Is there glass on the inside of the room?
There is, yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of carefully pick some of it up and try and I'm gonna cast Fabricate to kind of thin out the remaining glass to cover the window, and then I'm gonna
You're not getting your deposit back.
I'm gonna take one of the bed sheets and I'm gonna also use Fabricate on this to turn it into like a robe for Goopy, and I just kind of
Yeah.
throw it on him. And I have them sit in the corner. I kind of look at him, and then I grab another sheet and I just put it over them and covers their faces. Like,
Oh my god.
Definitely. So they're both just sitting there now, like together, like right next to each other. It almost looks like a big, like love seat that's now like covered.
Yeah.
And you all go to bed. I would say that 3.
He's with me?
You hear on your door,
Oh, he knows.
assuming he comes back to you for bed. And you hear a light little tap of 3 at your door before bed. You all go to bed. And wake up the next morning.
Long rest?
If there's, long rest yourselves. If there's anything you want to do in the morning before you go to Curley Cues, let me know.
Gotta get those curly guys.
Yeah, outside of that, we're going to say that you guys basically eat a small breakfast and head on out.
Making my way downtown, looking for a Curley Cue.
I will bring my 2 people with me, but I'll just make sure that they're heavily clothed.
Okay. Yeah, so and you have made these new clothes for them that seem to cover up most of them as you guys all begin to walk down to Curley Cues.
Right,
On the
and so
northern
what is
half.
so special about this armor again?
And this armor is very good. It protects me from a lot of attacks. The last battle, I took so many beatings, and this armor would have protected me from at least, if I had to quantify it, I would say at least 50 of my health feelings.
Right, so does it protect yourself from yourself? Or is that just like, this is like an intelligence thing that we just can't fix at this point? Have you tried reading books to him? I know you're the child of the group, but I believe he
You
might
spent
benefit
some
from
time
it.
with him. Did you try anything when you were with him?
Well, I tried lots of things with him. I tried many things
Most
with
of
him.
you
those
were
things
quite
did
a
not
few of
include the
them.
reading.
He enjoyed, but one of them in particular apparently made me the giant douchebag. So, no, it's not ship sailed.
I suppose perspective would be different from person to person, but everyone I've talked to said that yes, you are a giant douchebag.
I mean, I understand perspective.
I
In
don't think
different
you do.
contexts, I do understand. I also know that some people's opinions are more valuable than others. And so, you're welcome to yours, of course.
That would be the first time that I've ever been welcome to my own opinion around you, but okay. And maybe you are a change.
You are welcome to have that opinion. Don't
Wow.
mind me.
Wow, thank you. I'll sit over here with my opinions and feel so blessed to have them with me. Thank you. Nazlith, screw him.
I'm assuming we're Curley Cues.
And as you guys are having this conversation, you walk up to Curley Cues on the
Hi!
steps of Yeah, you say in your pink pants. And
Yes,
are
definitely wearing
studded.
those. Yep. I turn around and wiggle out. I'm like, yeah.
Goodness, Scorth is not with them, but Duarte and Q are at the building waiting. You guys. Hello, it is nice
We'll
to
walk
see
up
you.
to Duarte and give him a high five.
Yes, it's a weird way you acknowledge people in your culture, but
You were the one who reached out to me for the high
respect.
five. I just was doing it back.
yeah, sure. Anyways, if you would like, you can come in. Q and I have a agreement in place. You guys are more than welcome to take what you would like, and we will pay for it. Unfortunately, I could not get any of the other stores to agree to this, but Q here has worked with us for many years and is willing to help you out.
I super would like to look around and see what they have.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
would as well.
I would like to pick up those 2 other scrolls, and if he's willing to let me take that bag, I will.
Definitely. Did I tell you what the 2 other scrolls were, or were they
Aren't they the same?
blank?
You can, if it's not, you can tell me.
You're good.
You gave me, if it helps you, you already gave me
One scroll.
Scroll of Soul Collecting.
So you get that there's one more of those.
Okay.
There's a couple blank scrolls where if someone wanted to, make their own spells, they could. Sorry, gotta look something up real quick. I was prepped for this, I swear.
Alright, Lewin, have you seen my
Are you talking to me?
mantis shrimp anywhere?
He actually left me last night. I think he went back to your room. Did you not see him at your door?
No, I actually didn't see him at home this morning.
Can you not summon him back?
Can you?
Can I try? Can I try?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you mean?
3.
Oh, do you hear that? Look at that sound.
Are you fucking with me?
Yeah, no, I am.
Ah! I lost 3! He left me! He wouldn't stay with me!
I can do the locate creature if you need me to.
No, when they wander off like that, I don't really bother. I just make a new one. You know?
Aww. Alright, well let me know if you need me to do that.
Appreciate it.
I don't know how much of this is Budownik fucking with you guys, but Budownik, you would know that 3 is with you. He waited by your door the whole time. Okay.
Yeah, he's probably
Just
not in my bag.
From a DM checking, I just wanted to make sure.
From a Zoe, she's pissed.
So as far as scrolls go, there'd be a couple blank scrolls in there. Why'd you not? I don't want that. I want that.
Are we doing investigation for the or perception?
No, they're pretty much opened up their shop to you guys. So I'm going to give you kind of a small list of things you can kind of choose from. There is a scroll of protection there as well.
Okay, what is that? Is that a homebrew or something I can look up?
Roll a D100 for me. It's something you can look at, but roll a D100 for me, and I'll let you know what it's for.
Actually, did not pull my D100s out. Okay. Trying to remember. 12.
So this is a scroll of protection from beasts.
Okay.
You are more than welcome to take it if you would like.
Sure. Why not?
Outside of that, is there anything you guys are specifically looking for?
Browse the wares.
Any sorts of rings or
Yeah, I'll stop by anything that is of
non-committal
interest.
Yeah, if you go up to the front of the store, there are a couple rings that he has. There is a
And then Chris, I was gonna pick up that forbidden bag too. Then, if I can.
perfect.
What,
Yeah.
what was it called again?
It is called a. Sorry, I have it on a different page. Let me pull that beach up. Don't you do this to me, Ricky Bobby. What are you smiling at over there?
I just read the spell a little bit more and I'm excited.
What's spell?
It's
Don't you do that
holy
to me.
weapon.
Oh yeah.
Soul bag. That's what it's called.
Well.
Okay, is that something I can look up, or is that something you homebrew?
I believe it is in there. If not, I will grab it for you and give it to you.
Okay.
But it's a soul bag.
Wouldn't you like that?
You guys also find Budownik and Voltaire as you guys are up at the front looking at the glass case that is filled with some rings. You guys would see there are a couple bands of loyalty in there.
Sorry.
There is a. Oh, sorry, I gotta turn off the scrolls here. There is a ring of jumping.
Wait, did you use manticore fangs to make this?
The
ring of
Did
jumping.
not.
I'm sorry.
We were. We purchased that. So that is not something that
so
we.
you don't actually make the magical items. You're
I mean,
more
I
like
can.
third party than anything else.
I don't mean to be rude, sir, but if you want to be rude, you're more than welcome to push my shit down and get out of my fucking building.
I apologize for
spicy.
the boo. The Nick. He can be a little
Didn't you tell me this guy was
prickly. if you know what I mean.
Didn't you say he was supposed to be happy and shit?
I catch your drift.
How much? What's the nickel content of your swords these days? 5%?
If you would like, I have
Yes, it is best just to ignore him.
a ring of jumping. There is also a ring of feather falling, and a band of loyalty. You can take any of them if you would like.
I would like that ring of jumping. That sounds very nice. I
Yes.
would love that.
And he pulls it out and hands it to you. This is a rather beautiful ring. You've not really seen anything like this. Whatever it's made out of is kind of new to you as Voltaire. However, outside of game, this ring is. It looks like it's made out of some form of bone or a. Can't even think of the word. But essentially, it looks like it's made out of some sort of glossy bone that's been very polished. And it's obviously from one thing. Like, it wasn't shaped like this. It was, like, carved like this.
Okay.
But yes, that one is yours. The ring of jumping.
And then I was wondering, do you have my armor finished as well?
Yes. The armor is going to take a couple more hours. We sped up the order, but it won't be done for a little bit. Unfortunately.
That is okay. Do you have like a specific time I should come back later this evening?
Around 4 o'clock in the afternoon would be great.
Okay.
It's mostly the evening.
You would also see in that case are a couple of wands as well. There is a. Sorry. There's a wand of fear.
Fear's the right word. Of course, if you're using shit from this store.
And you would also see a wand of smiles. Either of these interest any of you guys? You're more than welcome to take it.
Take.
Everything here is yours.
Wow.
It is
Does anyone want the Wand of Fears?
On the
'Cause if
house.
not, I want it.
Right here. There you go. Right here. Sister wants it.
yeah. Wand of Fears is all yours, Emberly.
What is the wand of smiles?
It makes people smile.
I love this wand. It is very nice. To make the people smile, that is all I ever tried
It
to
forces
do.
a smile on their face.
It does. It would force a smile upon someone's face if they could not possibly fight the effects.
It's just
Awkward
kind
for
of funny.
conversation. Yeah.
I would like this if no one else wants it.
If you ever use it on me, it'd be funny.
Do not ever use it on
The very last wand we have is going to be a wand of web. This one shoots a web spell out of it.
Emily?
Anyone?
Yeah? You wanna go for it?
Yeah?
Yeah!
A wand of web. You can add that to your inventory. Outside of that, we are running a little low on items that we have. We have a couple other things, a couple rods, a couple more rings in the back. We got some more
Any other
scrolls.
different types of rings, or just more of what you had here?
Just pretty much more of what we had there. Most of our rings are going to be low level after what I've given you guys.
We appreciate everything that you're doing for us.
You said there's blank scrolls.
Yes, we do have blank scrolls to give.
I'm asking out of sessions.
Yeah.
Is that something I would use?
Could we write down spells and give it to someone?
A blank scroll would be used. Say, Nazlith, you would know, based on your background, that if you were to have met somebody who happens to like know a spell, and you wanted to be able to learn that spell or use that spell in some way, some people have the ability to put that spell on a scroll for you, or you can do it yourself, and then that's how you would use that spell
I want
essentially.
those.
You can add 3 blank scrolls.
Is that an item on here?
I believe it is.
It's blank scrolls, or so it's called.
I think it's just a. It'll
Scroll.
just say scroll of magic or something.
Is there a cartography store nearby?
Yes. What are you looking for? We have.
What level are they?
Sorry, what level? What?
There's spell scrolls, but there's cantrip, first level, second level, third level, fourth level.
Oh, I said I gave you 3.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind they are. One of them's a 2nd level, one of them's a 3rd level, and another one's a 2nd level. So 2 seconds and 1 third.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
Maps.
Maps. Yeah, as you asked for maps, Q's been fairly quiet most of this time, minus the little outbreak he had with Budownik.
Got it.
For most of the time, you have been talking with Duarte, and Duarte lets you know we have cartographers with back in the town hall if you need something specific. We also have many copies of maps hidden away there. You are more than welcome to take what you need.
Excellent. I will.
One in particular.
Oh, you're asking for specifics.
Yes, I would like to get this prepared
Right.
for your arrival.
Excellent. I would like the southwest region of Ethway, mostly looking into Tillian Hills.
So you would like a regional map,
Yes.
not one of a city or
No,
something?
not a specific city.
We can do that for you.
Excellent. And then I would also like to receive a map in more detail of the region of Laropia.
Yes. We can do that.
And
We
that's-
have plenty of Laropia maps. Just meet me back at the town hall before you leave. I will have those prepared for you.
Excellent.
Is there anything else you guys need from here?
I don't think so, unless there's something maybe you would recommend.
For some reason there was a bear
Sorry, I'm looking. Really, you guys have taken, I think, the majority of Q's high-level items.
Ha ha.
Thank you, Q.
And you see, like, Q kind of, like, nod. It is really no problem. I am being paid
Oh,
generously for this.
excellent.
So, yes.
Thank you,
take,
Duarte.
take what you would like.
Q, I don't want to make this awkward, but how are we going to handle the armor situation? I did pay half up front. I'm willing to let you keep that if that's what you're saying, but if you're...
The other half has been paid for already. You can thank Duarte for that as well. He has been very good.
Thank you very much, Duarte.
And you see Duarte just kind of like nod off.
Out of your face, boy, jeez.
If you guys need anything else before you leave, let me know. You can find me in the town hall, and if not, just ask Frederick. He will come grab me. And he kind of bows to you guys as he
Does
leaves.
our cart have rations on it for us?
It does.
Yes. We should probably replenish. Well, we can replenish it.
You can. You would know that cart does have,
It has food for the horses, not for us.
Yeah.
right, in a bag of holding, it has the food for the horses. It also has a box of holding that's custom built into
You
their
mean a chest of holding?
chest of holding, where you guys can kind of put whatever you'd like.
Okay.
Do you think that the booty neck might fit inside the chest of holding?
I don't think we should test that.
But, I mean, if worse
The
comes
chest
to
of
worse.
holding is meant for valuable objects, so I don't think he'd be appropriate for that.
I think that he thinks he would be appropriate. He thinks he's very valuable.
You missed my joke.
And you missed mine.
Do you consider him valuable?
I think he considers himself valuable.
We'll dig through this later.
I mean, he is kind of valuable.
He has been very valuable, actually.
When he
His
wants
skills
to
are
be.
undeniable. That is the truth, for sure.
He's in this room with us.
Yeah.
There is a 50-50 chance. There's a 50-50 chance he's not even listening, so it doesn't matter.
Fine.
That's what I thought. See.
Beer!
Oh, right. Let's do that. That actually sounds like a useful way to spend our time, doesn't it, Q? Right.
Oh,
Let's
this
get out of this shit show and on our way.
I'm thirsty. But I will need to go pick up my maps first.
Yeah, and as you guys leave, you'll see
Yeah.
Q has like this bag of gold on his table. He's kind of like separating slowly. And you guys take your stuff and leave. Duarte has left a couple minutes before you guys to go back to get your maps prepared. You guys managed to go back to the inn, have a couple beers. You're kind of waiting for your armor. Speed up the process a little bit unless you guys have
Montage.
something to do. I will say that you guys have your drinks. You go back, you collect your armor later in the day. You go to the town hall, you end up getting your maps. You will notice that everyone in this town is rather friendly towards you guys, especially the ones that you've met so far. The citizens of this town you're just kind of travelers, you know. But all the guards acknowledge your existence and seem to be aware of who you are and what you're doing. You guys get your stuff probably around 5 o'clock at night is when I'd say you guys would get back to the inn. And you guys have a decision to make on where you're going, what time you'd like to go. As you guys kind of sit down for a small little dinner at the inn, is there anything else you'd like to go over?
What kind of armor am I adding back on?
It's going to be the exact same armor you had, just any time it tries to make you roll at disadvantage for stealth, ignore that.
Okay, so just neutralize
Yeah,
that.
just ignore the stealth half of your armor. We'll just keep it as is. You would know that is something that's very hard to do with the armor that you have specifically. The fact that they were able to do it to you and fast forward that process, they probably needed help. Q was not doing that on their own. However, as you guys sit down for your dinner, you're going to discuss what is going to happen, I would assume in the morning at this point. We'll go ahead and end there, as that is a good spot to pick up from. Good job, guys. Figured out a lot of freaking information. All these 20 rolls. You would happen to know that Hagatha and what's his name? Gloopy. You would happen to know that Hagatha and Gloopy are still under their sheet up in their bedroom. As you guys are sitting there having dinner, you've had a pretty successful day. You've learned a lot of things. You've gathered a lot of things. You know, Budownik was a little pissy, but outside of that, it was a positive day.
I feel like I've upset God all this time.
No, I love the pissy Budownik. I love it. You keep that shit up. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end there. if you're watching, thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, review. I don't know how this goes. I'm
Review.
awkward at this.
Smash that like
Yeah,
button.
smash that like button.
Point up to the arrow or down to the subscribe box for the fun.
Subscribe,
Yeah.
here you go.
I don't even know where it's at. Everybody just point to a corner. Yeah, just give us a follow. That'd be dope. Hopefully you enjoyed watching. We are the Woodness Guild.
We're the Woodness Guild.
Are we
Question marks?
Are we the Woodness
And
Guild?
have a lovely night. Goodbye.